Welcome back to Be Fluent in Russian podcast. My name is Fedor. This is Reading Chekhov. Let's continue reading Chekhov. We stopped at a part where he wanted to climb over the fence to see Anna Sergeyevna. So, let's pick it up from there. Он соображал. Сегодня день неприсутственный. И муж, вероятно, дома. He figured today was a non-working day, so the husband was probably at home. This word неприсутственный is even new for me. So, присутствовать means to attend or to be somewhere. Неприсутственный means not attending day, I guess. So, сегодня день неприсутственный. Today is a non-attendance day, meaning non-working day. И муж, вероятно, and husband, probably. Вероятно means likely or probably. Да и все равно, было бы бестактно войти в дом и смутить. And besides, it would be tactless to enter the house and disturb them or her. Here in the translation we have them, but in text we don't really have anything to point to disturb who. It just simply says смутить. Было бы, it would be. So было means was. Было бы means it would be, but in Russian we use past tense. Было бы means it was be, or it would was. Not like it would be, but it would was, kind of. And бестактно means without tact or tactless. Бестактно. Ежели послать записку, то она, пожалуй, попадет в руки мужу. И тогда все можно испортить. If he sent a note, if to send a note, it might fall into the husband's hands, and then everything could be ruined. Послать записку, to send off a note. Пожалуй, то она, пожалуй, попадет в руки мужу, then it most likely, пожалуй means most likely, и тогда все можно испортить, and then everything can be ruined. Лучше всего положиться на случай. It was best to rely on chance. Лучше всего. Better than everything. Случай means chance. И он все ходил по улице и около забора, поджидал этого случая. And so he walked up and down the street and near the fence, waiting for that chance. So, this word все here is not translatable, meaning literally. Он все ходил, and he kept on walking. Все means все время, all the time. Все, it would be like constantly, continuously doing something. И он все ходил по улице, and he still, or he kept on walking on the street. И около, and near, забор. Забора, as a word means fence, забор. Поджидал этого случая. Поджидать means to wait at some place for somebody to show up or for something to happen. Поджидать is kind of like an ambush. Imagine that you are waiting for somebody in an ambush, in the bushes, right? And then that would be поджидать, to wait for somebody. Now imagine that what you're waiting for is a chance, and you're sitting in the bushes waiting for that chance. So поджидать is used a whole lot. Он видел, как в ворота вошел нищий, и на него напали собаки. Потом, час спустя, слышал игру на рояле, и звуки доносились слабые, неясные. He saw a beggar enter the gate and get attacked by dogs. And an hour later, he heard piano music. The sounds faint and unclear. Он видел как. He saw as something happened. So in Russian, we don't just say he saw a beggar enter. We have to say he saw as something happened. So он видел как. В ворота вошел, in the gate entered, нищий means beggar. So here we have this word order, в ворота вошел нищий. Into the gate entered a beggar. Of course, in English, this word order is impossible, but in Russian, it is possible. и на него напали. And he was attacked. Напали на него. Attacked on him. So we don't really say attacked him, we say attacked on him. Собаки means dogs. Час спустя. An hour later. Спустя means past. An hour past, something happened. Должно быть, Анна Сергеевна играла. It must have been Anna Sergeyevna playing. Должно быть means it must have been. Or must be. Парадная дверь вдруг отворилась, и из нее вышла какая-то старушка, а за нею бежал знакомый белый шпиц. The front door suddenly opened, and an old woman came out, followed by the familiar white Spitz, the dog that Anna Sergeyevna had. Парадная дверь. Парадный means festive, right? As a word, парадный. But then парадная дверь means festive door? No, it's the main entrance. Typically, парадная дверь, if it's a big house, then the main doors are typically grand, like big, right? Okay, this is the door to the house. Here you go, come in, right? Парадная дверь. If it's just like a small door, I also lived in the house when I was little, and we didn't have парадная дверь. We simply had a door, a simple door, not anything grand. So I wouldn't call our door парадная, even though it was the main entrance door. Okay. И из нее вышла. Again, we have this word order. Из нее вышла какая-то старушка. And from it came out some grand old woman or granny. So from it came out a granny. Of course, in English we would say a granny came out of it. But in Russian, the word order doesn't really matter. And here we can argue that the author wanted to kind of put more emphasis on старушка, which means the old woman. That's why he put her last. Not sure. And then finally, знакомый. Знакомый means familiar. Знакомый шпиц, familiar шпиц. Гуров хотел позвать собаку, но у него вдруг забилось сердце, и от волнения не мог вспомнить, как зовут шпица. Gurov wanted to call the dog, but his heart started pounding, and in his agitation, he couldn't remember the dog's name. Хотел позвать, wanted to call. Вдруг забилось сердце. Забилось сердце means the heart started to pound, or started pounding. Вдруг means suddenly, all of a sudden, without kind of, he didn't expect it, all of a sudden, right? Не мог вспомнить and couldn't remember. We've talked about this word вспомнить, which means to remember something, but not to remember it being in your memory, but it suddenly came up to you from your memory. So it's like to recall more so. Next, a long sentence. Он ходил и все больше ненавидел серый забор и уже думал с раздражением, что Анна Сергеевна забыла о нем и, быть может, уже развлекается с другим. И это так естественно в положении молодой женщины, которая вынуждена с утра до вечера видеть этот проклятый забор. He walked around, hating the gray fence more and more, and began to think irritably that Anna Sergeyevna had forgotten about him and might already be entertaining someone else, which would be only natural for a young woman forced to see that cursed fence from morning to night. Он ходил, he walked around, и все больше и больше, and still more and more, hated the gray fence. So again, we have this word все. Он ходил и все больше ненавидел. Все typically means everything. But again, все means and still or continued, и все больше ненавидел, and at the end of the day, hated this gray fence more and more, etc. Okay. Уже развлекается с другим. Анна Сергеевна, the lady's name, уже развлекается с другим, is already entertaining with somebody else. Now, the translation said entertaining someone else, but here we have развлекается с другим. Is entertaining with someone else. Or is being entertained with someone else. It's not like she's entertaining somebody else while she herself is not being entertained. No, they are together, and so they are both entertaining each other. Okay? This phrase, wonderful phrase, с утра до вечера. From morning to night, or to evening. С утра до вечера. We don't really have a saying, we kind of do с утра до ночи, from morning to night, but с утра до вечера is more common, and it means from morning to evening. Он вернулся к себе в номер и долго сидел на диване, не зная, что делать, потом обедал, потом долго спал. He returned to his room and sat on the couch for a long time, not knowing what to do. Then he had lunch, then he slept for a long time. Он вернулся. He returned. К себе means to himself or to his own. Actually, right here it's a full phrase. К себе в номер. To himself in a room, meaning like to his own room. К себе means to oneself's place. And then we specify where. В номер. To his own place in his room. In the room of the hotel, of course. Okay. Долго сидел. He was sitting for a long time on the couch and all that. Как все это глупо и беспокойно, думал он, проснувшись и глядя на темные окна. Был уже вечер. Вот и выспался зачем-то. Что же я теперь ночью буду делать? How foolish and troublesome all this is, he thought, waking up and looking at the dark windows. It was already evening. Well, I've slept enough. For what reason? What will I do during the night now? So, как все это, oh, how foolish all of this is, глупо и беспокойно, foolish and troublesome. Okay. Был уже вечер. It was already evening. Now, this был уже вечер. The evening already was. We cannot change the word order. This is where the word order matters. Because вечер is not really a subject here. It's not like it was the evening. No, outside it was evening already. So we can say на улице был уже вечер. So here, вечер itself is not being. Something else is being the evening. So I guess I'm getting to a bit more complicated grammar and stuff. But here we cannot change the word order. This is where it truly matters. Был вечер, we cannot replace it with вечер был. Would not make sense. Because there's another part of the sentence that is omitted, that if we flip the order, then we kind of are flipping that word out of the sentence, kind of. Because it kind of has to precede the был part. Yeah, I'm getting into the weeds. Never mind. This verb выспался, which means got enough sleep, slept enough. Выспался. Что же я теперь ночью буду делать? And what will I do now, at night? If I've slept enough, what's going to happen now? Что же and what now? Он сидел на постели, покрытой дешевым, серым, точно больничным одеялом, и дразнил себя с досадой. Вот тебе и дама с собачкой. Вот тебе и приключения. Вот и сиди тут. He sat on the bed, covered with the cheap gray, almost hospital-like blanket, and teased himself with annoyance. So much for the lady with the little dog. So much for the adventure. Here I am, sitting here. Now, the translation is giving us like he is disappointed in the dama с собачкой in Anna Sergeyevna. He is disappointed in this adventure. I wouldn't think of it this way. Вот тебе и дама с собачкой. And that's how you... Вот тебе, here you go. Lady with the dog. Okay? And that's what you deserve. This is the kind of dama с собачкой, the lady with the dog, you deserve. This is the adventure that you deserve. So he is, I think, being more self-pitiful versus being upset with the trip, with the person. I think that he is upset with himself for not coming up to the place. And he's not really disappointed in his love, in the person that he's in love with. So, он сидел на постели. Постель is a word that means bed. We also have кровать. What is the difference between the two? Кровать is a bed, more of a physical object. Постель is more of your bedside, meaning is a place that you sleep at. Now, of course, кровать and постель can be one and the same thing. You sleep in your bed is where the bed is, right? You have your bed where the bed actual object is. But постель can also be a little sheet on the floor. Now, that cannot be кровать because кровать is a physical object. So постель is more of a place you sleep at, while кровать is more of a physical object for the bed. Okay? Вот тебе is that phrase. And here you go, дама с собачкой. So that's a very important phrase here. And 2 more sentences. Еще утром на вокзале ему бросилась в глаза афиша с очень крупными буквами. Шла в первый раз гейша. Он вспомнил об этом и поехал в театр. Earlier that morning at the station, he had noticed a poster with very large letters. The play Geisha, or Geisha, not sure, was shown for the first time. He remembered this and went to the theater. So еще утром, in fact, еще утром, already in the morning, or back in the morning, at the station, на вокзале, вокзал here is a station, train station, ему бросилось в глаза. So, the English translation says he noticed something. So, he noticed a poster. In Russian, we have a different phrase, ему бросилось в глаза, афиша. Афиша is a poster. And instead of he noticed something, he noticed the poster kind of threw itself into his eyes. So the poster was something that was catching attention of his, not like he noticed. So in Russian, we have sometimes this a bit of a difference in meaning where it cannot be captured by the translation. So ему бросилось в глаза means got into his eye, of course, figuratively. So something was so bright and so appealing to him that it got into his attention. Because he noticed could be that he was looking for something, right? It's not the same in Russian. Okay. Он вспомнил об этом. He remembered this. И поехал в театр and went to the theater to see this play. Okay? That is all. That's all we're going to have for today of Chekhov. Great passage showing that he didn't actually go into their house. Maybe he was right not to do that and not get caught. And we'll see if he did the right thing in the future podcasts, where I will see you all maybe next week. And meanwhile, go ahead and learn some Russian with Be Fluent with the first link in the description. And in fact, before we go, let me read this part one more time. And that's going to be it for today. So we can have a bit more of a holistic kind of a thing and not just leave it in bits and pieces. Here we go. Он соображал. Сегодня день неприсутственный, и муж, вероятно, дома. Да и все равно, было бы бестактно войти в дом и смутить. Ежели послать записку, то она, пожалуй, попадет в руки мужу. И тогда все можно испортить. Лучше всего положиться на случай. И он все ходил по улице и около забора, поджидал этого случая. Он видел, как в ворота вошел нищий, и на него напали собаки. Потом, час спустя, слышал игру на рояле, и звуки доносились слабые, неясные. Должно быть, Анна Сергеевна играла. Парадная дверь вдруг отворилась, и из нее вышла какая-то старушка, а за ней бежал знакомый белый шпиц. Гуров хотел позвать собаку, но у него вдруг забилось сердце, и он от волнения не мог вспомнить, как зовут шпица. Он ходил и все больше и больше ненавидел серый забор и уже думал с раздражением, что Анна Сергеевна забыла о нем и, быть может, уже развлекается с другим. И это так естественно в положении молодой женщины, которая вынуждена с утра до вечера видеть этот проклятый забор. Он вернулся к себе в номер и долго сидел на диване, не зная, что делать. Потом обедал, потом долго спал. Как все это глупо и беспокойно, думал он, проснувшись и глядя на темные окна. Был уже вечер. Вот и выспался зачем-то. Что же я теперь ночью буду делать? Он сидел на постели, покрытой дешевым, серым, точно больничным одеялом, и дразнил себя с досадой. Вот тебе и дама с собачкой, вот тебе и приключения, вот и сиди тут. Еще утром на вокзале ему бросилась в глаза афиша с очень крупными буквами. Шла в первый раз гейша. Он вспомнил об этом и поехал в театр. That is all. Now, see you guys next time for sure. Пока-пока.